Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are joined again by Anna Manarod, talking today more about the work she does as a life coach. And she's at Higher Heart Healing, based out of Tucson, Arizona, but really helping and healing all over the world. Welcome to the show today. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. How are you?
Great. Pleasure to have you back. And
Yeah.
for new time listeners, viewers, would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself, what you do?
Absolutely. So I am a spiritualist and energy healer and life coach. The name of the business that I own is Higher Heart Healing, as you mentioned. And I'm based in Tucson, but I do a lot of work remotely with clients all over on Zoom. And I primarily focus on private energy sessions, and I have digital content and a lot of kind of medicines and tools that operate in the spiritual space and the metaphysical through my business.
Beautiful. And for today, I know we're going to talk about some new offerings as well as the topic of the day. What did you want to share?
Well, you know what, Jill, I really felt called to we as you know, the audience may know, you may know, we're in the middle of some eclipses that are
Yeah, that's
pretty
right. I think Saturday is one. Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason why these are, first of all, it's one of the biggest astrological events that we actually have in our sky, and they're big. They bring in huge energy changes. And so what's important about these two eclipses, not only do we just don't have one, we have two this month on top of our full moons, and All Hallows Eve and all of that kind of really fun stuff, right? It's closing out the eclipse corridor, which has happened over the past 18 months. So a lot of really how we're feeling that in our bodies and seeing that in our lives is through really, really deep purging, subconscious wounding, traumas, a lot of change. And so what I've been feeling collectively as I've been connecting is a lot of fear that's coming up for everybody. And kind of the offset, the other side of that is what our relationship is to power and self-power, and looking at the traumas around how power systems have been abused and manipulated in our society and also within our own lives. So I just thought I would talk a little bit about fear with the audience, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. And so I wanted to just mention a few things. First of all, fear is a very, very powerful, it's the easiest way to control all of humanity. Okay. So it's like we instantly go into fear. And the thing to know about fear is that it's illusionary, it's deception, and it causes a lot of powerful thought distortions based around all of the different areas of our life. It's also held in the mind and the thought space. So the thinking plane of your existence, how you think, is controlled very easily with our fear. Its fear is also created by the ego, and it's supported by the ego. And the ego beautifully has kept us safe, but it has gotten way out of balance and out of control. It will actively seek out any circumstances in your physical reality to support and reinforce the fear. So what I'm trying to actually say is whatever you look for in life, you will find. So the way you kind of combat that is you use a stronger mindfulness practice, and you start to develop strong boundaries, thought boundaries around fear. And you really take hold of that, and you kind of move through and push through the fear. And that's what I think a lot of people who are getting into spirituality, who are waking up, which is a lot of what is being caused right now with these eclipses, is that we have got to we're being forced to sort of look at fear because it's coming up. And it's overthink, it's anxiety, and it's keeping us up at night right now. And a lot of people are in some places where it's like these waves, and that's happening. So fear also enforces the duality and the separation of the third dimension, our physical reality. And it prevents us from remembering our connection to source light. So remembering that we don't live in a fear-based reality, that we actually are here to be loving and to enjoy life and to really slow down and to prioritize self-care over everything else because we've gotten so out of balance. And this kind of imbalanced doing space, this masculine, toxic masculine environment of our whole life and how we operate of the doing. We have to fix something. We have to go. We have to take action. We aren't allowing for the slowing down. And it's really actually ultimately causing illnesses in our body. And it's keeping us sick. And it's preventing us from really healing ourselves and changing our lives.
Deep. I love this. So hold on. How do we contact you? A website? I forgot to ask. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So my website is www.higherhearthealing.co.
Okay.
My business phone number is 520-333-6237.
Okay. Perfect.
And I'm on all the social media platforms as well at Higher Heart Healing.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. So unfortunately, I still don't have your notes for the day. I'm sorry. So what
That's
else
okay.
about fear do you think is important to discuss? I don't know
Yeah,
what else was
no,
on
I
the
could
list.
definitely keep going. Are you kidding?
Go for it.
Okay, so the other side of fear is, and why we're having to kind of push through that is we're being called to remember our power and our greatness and connecting to success and prosperity. A really big overall theme for 2023 for a lot of people was abundance. We wanted to manifest like crazy. And if you go back to where you were at, like last December before the new year of 2023, this really became an overall theme where I could psychically see and feel and really connect with this desire to receive, because it was time and there's exhaustion from so much healing emotionally that we've had to push through since, COVID. This is perfectly coinciding with what is called ascension, which is what we're in right now. It's this awakening energy where we're remembering more of who we are as energy. And so in order to receive abundance and to manifest, we have to clear out the darker stuff. We have to purge out the trauma. And so all year long, we've actually been doing really deep work. And I don't know about you and in your life and what it looks like now, but it's kind of been a year. Like it's kind of been a year where I've done a lot of facing my traumas and walking in this dark night of the soul, and doing a lot of shadow work. And so equally, there's been this evolutionary process where I'm up leveling. I'm up leveling in how I think about myself, how I'm connecting to my power, how I'm leading leaders, how I'm stepping into that space of spiritual mentorship for people at the top who are isolated. I've walked in these places in my life. This is my journey. So there's a lot of healing and there's a lot of abundance and remembering that we are powerful and what that means. And the way that spirit wants me to kind of share that with your audience is it isn't the abuses and power that we have experienced in this physical reality. This is not at all the way power is actually designed within us. Our power chakra center is our solar plexus, our yellow light. I call it our sunshine. It's right at the diaphragm, and it's also where fear resides. And that's why we kind of all feel those butterflies in your stomach right there, the same place. That's your solar plexus chakra activating. So when that activation happens, it's your body saying, remember your power, remember your chi, your prana, your creationary energy, how you are a master at creating your reality, how you operate from love always. That's how you were made. That is how light is. It vibrates in the frequency of love. 432 megahertz. There's all this really fun quantum technology around vibration and light waves and color. And so we are really walking into connecting more with our power, being successful, thinking you are success. Well, that's an operating system. So if you're someone who's processing unworthiness and lack, guess what you're clearing right now?
Yeah. It's kind of stuck in that mode, or aren't you?
Yeah. And we all have that. So
Hmm.
it's just the power is the self-love. It always goes back to love. How much do you love yourself? Are you willing to remember your abundance? Are you willing to remember and push through and heal your unworthiness and your lack mentality, right? The scarcity, the going to Costco and stockpiling everything because we think it's going to be gone.
Oh,
These
guilty.
behavioral systems must go. And so this is the positivity that really is already integrated into everything about who we are. So it's just that's what step we're stepping into the rest of this year. These last 3 months, this is the focus. So we got to push through this fear and then we get to receive more, and that power will heal everything in your life. Just that one
Mm,
chakra center.
wow. And for those that are, new to the chakra system and healing, could you just describe what that is? And I'm not, I know the main seven ones, but how do
Yeah.
they relate to our bodies, yeah, could you share that?
Yeah, I would love to. So, our chakra system, this was new to me too. I mean, honestly, I didn't know anything about their portals of energy. They're like epicenters of the way energy flows in and out of our bodies. And because our human eyes can't see them, we think that they're not there, but in truth, they're very much a real thing. And we use them and navigate through them through our feelings. So the chakra centers run up along the spine, and they are assigned a number and a mantra and a color. And the seven chakras that you talked about, kind of the primary chakras that most people know about, start with the root, which is the number one. It is the I am
Hmm.
safe. And it's also the one that reactivates first when we're having a kundalini or an awakening. And that's connected and the closest to Gaia. So Gaia, we are like kind of vortexes of energy, and we're walking on the surface of Gaia all the time. I know this sounds a little woo-woo, but this is kind of how you can visualize what energy looks like around you. You are you are a layered system of energy fields, and how you start to maintain your body's health ultimately always should go and start with the chakra system. And so we should be working from the outside, our light bodies, into the physical body. That's Eastern medicines. Westernized medicines focus on the body alone. So they're only going to treat the symptoms of a
Got it.
disillness or a disease. And in the chakras, we can hold and create blockages and get out of alignment. And that's what energy healing does, is it aligns them, it removes blockages, cuts cords, looks at karma. And a good healer will see it and move through that as needed, to help you ultimately start to repair. You actually reverse age when you do energy healing. It's remarkable. The blood will clear, the organs will heal, the skin will tighten, the hair will change. It's miraculous what can happen if you really stick with it and just start to operate in your spiritual self and your light body, and then take care of your vessel and your carbon-based body as best as you can as a
Wow.
vessel of divine light.
Well, okay, let me just ask. So, someone like me, I'm suffering from, well, I just had a double groin hernia surgery, so that's painful, but I have this chronic in my arms and it's both and the wrist now. It's like a degenerative tendon thing. So,
Okay.
all day long, this is aching. And, using the computer, using the phone,
It's
using
like, yeah,
it hurts. And
carpal tunnel. Yeah.
well, they'll no, the doctor says it's not carpal tunnel. We did the nerve test. It's not. It's the actual tendon itself is degenerating. So the tendon is
Okay.
getting weak. It's not, yeah. So it's not tingling, not numb. It's just so sore because it's the
Yeah.
tendons doing, and this
Soft
is when you go
tissue
like this, the
that
tendons.
hurts.
So, and it's funny because I've done enough physical therapy to do, and insurance is down to once a week for that, but is it really
Yeah.
helping? No. I mean, so now you
Well,
got me
so
thinking, because pain
yeah, so that's an indicator, that's beautiful. That's actually how I've had so many. I've had like 10 surgeries. I wouldn't, I mean, I'm with you. And some of them have been soft tissue injuries as well. So that takes a long time to heal that. And I've gone through physical therapy and stuff like that too. What I love about holistic medicines is I like to take the approach, go with your intuition, try new things if you're called to, but using a combination of holistic medicines. If
Yeah.
something isn't working for you and it isn't
Mhm.
working for your body, I think
Then
it's time to try something new. Listen to yourself. Listen to your body. Say,
yeah.
okay, maybe I need to start looking at acupuncture. Or a lot of my clients come to me because they've tried the other westernized medicines that are
Mhm.
available. I've been there, and they don't want to pop a pill, or maybe there's addiction there and they don't want to be given prescriptions because they don't want it. They know what the work they've done, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, then understand there's something energetically going on here. And I do say that I have seen the craziest things heal. I mean, bones repairing in my own back, from herniated discs, 4 or 5.
I have those too. Wait, so tell me about that. Whoa, whoa. So you never had surgery? You had
No, I went through it took me probably a good solid year. I was having discs. My mother has degenerative back diseases and has had surgeries. Oh my God. And so I thought in my mind, as I aged, that's what is going to happen to me. We tell ourselves these stories. We forget that we can repair. We can repair our incredible bodies if you use all of the magic of who we really are.
mm-hmm.
And it does become a alchemical process. Alchemy is
That's so
using energy to heal. And it's really crazy. But if you go back to like Egyptian times or something, they didn't have hospitals. They had high priestesses. They had Ayurvedic oils. They used moonlight, ceremony, sacred stone boxes, where my body was placed to heal my back in
wow.
meditation. There's really amazing things that we can really, if you get with the right person and you just say to yourself, like there's something in there deep, Jill, deep, where you say to yourself, I don't know why, but I cannot face this. This is not for me. I knew I had the surgeon appointments lined up. My back kept exploding. It was childhood trauma. Okay. But did it help me with the pain at the moment? No, it just knew that I couldn't
Yeah.
face a future if I had all these back surgeries. It would just mean more
Right.
surgeries. So I ended up choosing my energy healer. I said to myself, for some reason, I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for my daughter. I don't want to be on a bunch of medications. I don't want that for my kid. I wanted to do it differently. So I said, I am going to try to heal this with my healer. And my God, that is exactly what happened. And it was unbelievably beautiful. And I'm not saying that that is the only way. I don't think that's how this works. Was I ginger with my back and tender? Did I do a lot of, yoga positions that supported? Yes, and I would meet with her once a week. She would work on the back, remote session. Okay, there was things, but I gave myself that grace, that time. I got off my back.
Mm-hmm.
I let myself rest. I did all that stuff. I looked at my emotions a lot. So it's like you kind of got to fully commit to that. But if you're willing, I never thought I would ski again or walk 4 miles a day in this beautiful desert. I mean, I don't take any of that for granted. And so you can have miracles that happen in holistic modalities like this. So if your body isn't responding to something that you're trying, I feel like that's kind of when spirit is telling you, stop forcing. There's a new way to go about this. Try something new. Follow those little breadcrumbs, because like acupuncture, I think is really becoming more popular. There isn't any quick fix. Spirit wants me to clearly tell everyone there's no quick fix. You got to be in it, but there's different options available. That doesn't mean necessarily just going straight into surgeries.
All right, this is great. It gives me hope. And I think a lot of people hope at light at the end of the tunnel that you're right. Maybe not one modality works. You can try something else like this. When you say you're a healer, was it an energy healer? That's what I just,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes. Reiki,
Mm-hmm.
quantum healing. So her and I actually work a lot alike. And we've had a lot of past lives together as student teachers and healers together. And so that's why I'm still with her 7 years later. And it's a beautiful relationship. And it's powerful, and it's incredible. It's incredible. I still am shocked by some of the things I'll see in my clients. Now, I have clients who really resist and they want to focus on, they just, for whatever reason, they want to focus on like a different type of healing. I again just go with what you feel like is the right thing to do. But I do feel powerfully that if something isn't working, you'll know it and you'll say, I am exhausted and I'm done. And there's got to be something else here. And it's that push in your own self, your own eighth chakra, your higher self. It sits a foot above your crown, your best friend, the one that knows you intimately, that never leaves you, your soul is kind of guiding you and saying, try this, do this. And the way that I personally, the way my gifts have emerged is that I will see a story in the arm. I will see something traumatic and it will sound like a story. That's the best way I can kind of describe it. It's like a movie scene. And so then I can move the energy, do the Reiki light, do all of the healing, and we just kind of keep going. It's like a layered approach. And that's the way my gifts have emerged for me. I don't know. I think every healer is different, but I'll also see some connections in one area of the body with the other. Like maybe your knee, maybe there's something up in your throat chakra that's actually tied to your knee and why your knee is hurting. It's really kind of crazy. Everything that seems like it's not connected in energy actually is. So what I'm saying is if you have a trauma from your past, it could be that you're holding it in a certain part of your body.
And let's remind everyone how we can reach you. We've been on a roll. Just remind us again of the website.
Yeah. So my website is www.higherhearthealing.co. And my business phone number, if anybody wants to DM or reach out with questions, is 520-333-6237.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much. By the way, I did get your notes a little bit late. So we talked about fear, letting go to receive. Sorry. The power, stepping into greatness, which we're continuing on. And you mentioned that collective energy is very heavy and a lot's being stripped away. And what does that look like in our lives? Pain?
Yeah. It's just pushing through
sorrow.
A lot of fear, in order to get to the other side, which is power and greatness. And how do we operate if we are prosperous and successful? There's people that actually, like myself, who I didn't know how to be successful. I knew how to let my ex-husband provide for me and be very successful. I was like, okay, I'm down with that. Yeah, I'll do that. And guess what? I get to put all the blame on him when things don't go right. So as I've healed myself and I've changed and I decided I wanted to be prosperous for myself, I had to step in to allowing for this flow to come in so that I could take that and heal others and really fulfill my purpose as service to humanity. And we cannot do that, Jill, from places of lack. We cannot think that we are undeserving. We have to push through and repair and let that stuff kind of fall away. That's not easy work. And that's why it feels deeply emotional and like trauma. And so allowing that flow, working with the healer, letting the eclipses move this out of you, just be really gentle, clear your calendar, go into this cocoon of self-love and caring of your body. And that's the best way to really let yourself heal, because when you're in those places, you need you right now.
Any other suggestions? Like, you mentioned the eclipses coming Saturday. What are some other things we could do to help this?
I think that's great. I want to just say there is a lighter energy coming in. I mean, the fact that we're closing out on the 28th, which is kind of fun that it's around Halloween, that eclipse, a new lighter frequency of this abundance, of the truth, of receiving is actually going to come in. So first we push through that dark energy, that heavy stuff, and then we get the lighter frequencies that come in. It's by design. So know that if you've been walking in this journey with me in this dark space, healing a lot of inner child stuff, there's light coming in now. The reward comes in, and that is exactly the way that energy cycles operate always.
Ah, see, I wasn't
Yeah.
even sure what that one. Tell me what an eclipse is. What is it happening to the shift? Could you share what that
Well,
is?
I mean, eclipses bring in a lot of they make you reflect. They make
Reflection.
you, yeah, and they kind of, it's like they show you a lot of subconscious stuff that's like, think of yourself as an iceberg,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a little tip above the surface. Well, that's the stuff that you know why something's happening, and you can think that's the thinking plane where you're like, oh, I cut my finger, that hurts. Okay, I saw why I did that. I accidentally cut it on a kitchen knife. But there's a lot of why we actually operate and think the way that we do and make the choices we make is all under that surface. It's all of that big, wider part of that whole iceberg. And that subconscious stuff, the eclipses force that up. And that's why it feels for some people so incredibly deep. And it's like you can't find your footing. You feel like you can't get grounded. And it depends on what zodiac, what sign it's in. And I think that the lunar eclipse, I think we just had the solar eclipse, and I believe that was in Libra, which is the scales of justice. So balancing out what hasn't been in balance. So that could be a lot of karmic stuff that you quite don't even really understand yet. You're not getting the full picture. So eclipses will shadow and make things not obvious. It's really
Okay.
stuff that you can't see, but it's coming up. You don't know why. It's because we're in an eclipse. And so we'll move through that. And then at some point, it might be months later, because eclipses, the energy lasts 6 months to a year after we've actually had that astrological event. You could be going, oh my God, I remember I felt this back in October. And now I'm seeing why I had to get through that, because now look where I'm at in my life. Oh my God, it's so much better.
Yeah.
It's like, that's that kind of balancing out of a lot of karma, a lot of past life stuff that's really heavy. That's karmic. When things feel that deep and significant, this has been lifetimes where this stuff has been going on.
Wow.
And that's how you know the difference of it just being like something small versus, wow, this was a doozy. And I don't even know where this came from. And for some reason, I'm remembering a lot of stuff from my childhood or in past relationships. Things will pop in your mind where you're like, oh my God, I remember when that happened to me. And that really made me feel crappy. And why am I remembering that right now? And then the emotions come, right? And then, oh my God, is that going to happen again? And so it's like, you got to let yourself breathe through that and release it.
Okay.
So you show up, you breathe through it, release it, and you just let it go. You let it go. And you don't have to live with that energy in your body. You can let it go.
Okay. Thank you so much. And if we want to reach out to you, tell us about the new offering as well.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. This has totally transformed my entire business model, to be quite honest with you. And I'm excited about it. And it's the first time I've been excited in a long time. So I've really pulled back a lot of my different services, and I'm just focusing now on the private healing sessions. And they've taken a different look. They're arranged by element, as I work with a lot of Gaia energy and the elementals. So I've got one that's specifically focused on the element of wind or fire or spirit or water or earth. And you can book those appointments on my website exclusively. And I'm also creating a special spiritual mentorship program that will be for women, spiritual business women who are entrepreneurs as well and have kind of reached a certain place in their lives and need some positive accountability and someone to hold that space for them and to maybe repair a specific area of their life where they can't seem to get it right. Yeah. But all the other areas they're doing fine. So that's going to be a really beautiful support container. I'm still birthing that and creating that with my astrologer. So I'm excited about that. I'll have that kind of up on my website later in November. And so, but for right now, I'm still open for private appointments, of course, and a lot of coaching work and energy healing remotely and in person.
Perfect. All right. Remind us again how we can reach out to you then. Thank you so much.
Yeah, 520-333 6237 is my direct phone line, and available for texting, of course, with that as well. And my website to book appointments or a free consultation is www.higherhearthealing.co.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Great show today. And thank you for filling me in as well as our listeners on this whole eclipse and this energy. I can't wait to feel this new lighter type of.
I know. Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you again, Anna. We appreciate your time and have a
Thank you.
great week and enjoy that eclipse.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.